You're such an asshole.
I have another one that Aaron wants me to read since he's out gallivanting. He says, "Hi everyone, if you didn't know, this is Mary Jo, and I have hired her to read some asshole consulting requests because she is pretty and I am not." He's so sweet. Don't let Aaron fool you. He's a Sour Patch Kid. At first he's sour, but then he's sweet. We have 2 questions, one from one client, so she will answer the first question here and film the second video in a string bikini while completely intoxicated. That's not gonna happen, but nice try. I charge extra for Mary Jo to read requests because I am a greedy capitalist whore. Actually, because I do pay her for her time. Yes, this is true, Aaron pays me. But if you want Mary Jo to read your request instead of me, let me know when you send requests to Asshole Consulting. Thanks, Cappy. The request. What's up, asshole? I'm a big fan of your videos and I'm currently reading Bachelor Pad Economics. I appreciate your philosophy on life and I want to start off with saying thanks for taking the time to do this. I am writing in to get your input on 2 main questions that I need some no bullshit guidance on. I want to keep this confidential between you and I. First, background on me. I'm 23 and a software engineer working in the heart of the Silicon Valley. I busted my ass in high school and ended up at an Ivy League, and now I am paying off the remaining student debt and looking for a place to live on my own. I need to get out of California and broaden my horizons, and I have considered other major cities in the US, but also going abroad and living in a different country for an extended period of time. Question 1. My career choice. My career choice and money saved up from living at home for a year working in the real world has given me an unbelievable amount of options in terms of what to do with my life. Your line from some of your videos really speaks to me. If you want to make a man miserable, give him options. This is true. However, given so many options and freedom and minimalism at 23, I really don't want to fuck this up and want to take full advantage of the position that I am in. As a result, I am starting to see the complexity involved with having options. I find myself constantly weighing opportunity cost and strategizing ways to act for happiness and fulfillment in my life. However, the plethora of opportunity has rendered me somewhat inactive in terms of taking the next step and has me constantly reevaluating the best route to take. My question is this: do you have any process or frameworks that help you evaluate competing options, bite the bullet, and go in a particular direction with your life with minimal thought of opportunity costs once the decision has been made? I would appreciate if the answer is not whichever gives me more freedom and supports minimalism. Why does that sound like something Cappy would do? I am not assuming this would be your answer, but a generalized piece of advice would be great given that I'm willing... Oop, sorry, that was my dog. I am assuming this would not be your answer, but a generalized piece of advice would be great given that I would be willing to take an appropriate commitment, responsibility, corporate enslavement given the right opportunity. To illustrate an example, right now I'm weighing these 3 options. Switching fields within software development to a more passionate and engaging subfield, potentially a different company, likely New York as of right now, or capitalizing on my passion for music and taking a risk on a career as a musician while I have my time, freedom, money saved. I am skilled with a guitar and production. And then the third example, investing all money I have squirreled away into down payment on an investment property rental in Colorado and living at home while I pay that mortgage off. To conclude, I am not miserable because I have option. I just feel slightly overwhelmed and want to aggressively simplify my decision-making process when choosing between great options and the high opportunity costs. I also realize this sounds very woe is me and that I should just shut up and be happy that I have something to eat tonight and a roof over my head. That's not true. You're trying to do what's best for you. I accept that perspective and acknowledge that this is not really a problem like the rest of the world thinks of a problem. I'm just grateful to everyone in my life who has helped me get to this point and to myself for busting my ass when it counted, and I do not want to fuck it up. Okay, so now is Aaron's answer. Okay, the great wisdom of Clary. Hi, C. All right, here's the deal. I will give you specific advice on your options you've listed above and then go into more methodical approach on how to choose the best option as to maximize your utility, income, and happiness in life. First, the options you came up with. In short, the options you listed were complete ass. Aaron! You're only 23. You invested all the time in a hard degree in an Ivy League school, and now you're contemplating blowing it away pursuing music or becoming a remote landlord. You didn't even give your education a chance. Worse, you obviously are smart, but then you come up with the most boneheaded, moronic idea that all boneheaded morons could come up with. I'm going to become a musician, man! He put a bunch of A's and M's, so I'm trying to read it like Aaron would. The fuck you are! Oh my goodness. Okay. The chances of that is near zero. It could happen, and I'm not saying you shouldn't pursue music as a hobby, but you are going to avail yourself of that legitimate education you got and make sure you didn't piss away the 4 years of your youth. Also, you could play on the street corner as a panhandler next to the heroin addicts in San Francisco. Okay. He's got a point. God, I hate when Aaron's right. Also, managing rental property is hard. It's harder if the property is 1,200 miles away. Again, that is going to be a waste of time, arguably even money, and not worth the opportunity cost you'd have to sacrifice, where you could be making $125 an hour. You'll be at work, and then some dipshit tenant is going to call because they flushed their tampons down the toilet and it's flooding. I feel like women know not to do that, okay? So that's a poor example. Even if you flew out there to show the tenant where the water main is, but she wasn't paying attention because she's a sociology major, and that's dirty work the property manager should do. Meanwhile, you're at least 5 hours away with a flight and TSA security check at $800 for ASAP flight. You get to your property and you have $35,000 in water damage to the unit below and 2 pissed off tenants you now have to house in a hotel for the next month at $100 a night. No, you're not going to become a remote property manager. As for your third option, living in New York, sure, if you want to move from one leftist shithole to another and continue paying 50% taxes, then be my guest. But I'm not against you moving to other places, especially out of California. If you move to Denver, then maybe buying a duplex where you lived in one unit and rented out the other would work. If you move to Texas, where there's no state income or commies, again, duplex might work, and these places have tech jobs. I live in San Antonio, Texas, and this is very true. Not only do we have rack space, but we have one of the main FBI buildings next to a university who coincidentally just landed 2 huge government contracts, one with engineering and one for STEM research. I don't think those are coincidence. And we're also a huge military base that houses a lot of my Air Force engineering people out by Lackland. So living in Texas, we do not have state income tax, and that's one of the reasons that we were not hit with the housing bubble as hard as other places in the country. But let's see what else Aaron has to say. But I'm all for the young men and women moving out of the country, checking out other places they might like, enjoying different cities this country has to offer, and pursuing the best economic opportunities the country offers. But I'm totally for the talented, young, and productive moving out of that socialist traffic jam shithole you're in now. So, California. As for the methodology as you choose the best option. First, I sit down and assess what's feasible. For example, if you sat down and you were to be honest with yourself, you know becoming a successful musician is not feasible. Just eliminate whatever options sound too good to be true or you know is a crapshoot. Rap artist, professional athlete, a female mortgage worker. Aaron! Shut up! Female mortgage worker. You're such a dick. All these things are laughable and not possible. Well, They are possible. Do not waste your time entertaining these options. Second, I would do additional research to find out what is required to make these options a go. What you will inevitably find is there is a major reason, law, regulation, finance, etc., that makes it impossible. For example, I thought a great idea would be to have a dental cleaning oil change place where you could have your teeth cleaned by people who merely clean teeth, not a dentist. What? Today you are currently have to get x-rays? Oh God, Aaron, read your work. Today you currently have to get x-rays. The dentist requires an exam. All this other bullshit when all I want is my fucking teeth cleaned. Turns out, after a little bit of research, I found out that you need to be a licensed dentist to open up such a practice, and that my Jiffy Lube dental cleaning idea was off the list. Short version, usually if you investigate your options further, it becomes clear which ones are not feasible. Okay. Oops, sorry guys. My leg is falling asleep. Okay. So third, I asked, does this guarantee my living and income? You obviously did not ask that question wondering if you should move to New York to play your guitar on Broadway as you become a slumlord in Denver. Perhaps you have rich folks. Perhaps you have wads of cash I'm unaware of. But I need my option to pay off in terms of time and money. I need food on the table and a roof over my head. Fourth, whereas most options will seem to guarantee these things, you will need to also ask, what if it doesn't go through? What if it doesn't deliver? Perfect example, you take a job in Dallas and the hiring manager lied his ass off about the job and you can't do it. But you were smart and assumed it didn't and only got a month-to-month lease. You were also smart enough to pack a hammock for a bed, a laptop for work, some socks, underwear for hygiene, and you can pack up all your shit and move out in 40 minutes. I hope you take more than that. Please don't listen to him. He looks like a hobo half the time, and I'm getting him socks for Christmas because all he has is white socks, and they don't look good with everything. So pack a little bit more, but pack light is the summary. Fifth, assuming these things all hold, we can start thinking of loftier options and benefits. What we're essentially doing is working our way through Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and once the basics are there and guaranteed, as much as they statistically can be, then we start thinking about things like what pays more, fringe benefits, free time, etc. A lot of this is couched in the assumption you're looking for a job, but it could be travel too. If you can afford it and the means by which you travel are guaranteed, then you start looking at weather, activities, hobbies, etc. And here is a personal preference whether you're looking for 2 job offers or 2 vacation spots. However, if you go through steps 1 through 4, you're likely to have whittled your options down to 1 or 2. If further refinement is necessary, or you need a triage list of loftier Maslow needs, I would put them in this order. Freedom. Am I allowed more freedom or less freedom than the other options? I may not make as much, but if I'm only working 30 hours a week, I have more time on an entrepreneurial, I can't say this word, entrepreneurial project, okay? I'm sorry, English is my second language. Rarity, so he wants to, let me read them first. Okay, so he would put them in order. So freedom is first, rarity, and then time. So I read you freedom. Rarity, am I going to have the option to do this again? Will I be here again? Will this option be available in the future? For example, many clients of mine wonder if they should join the military. I often strongly recommend they do now because the military won't take them when they're 50. However, there will always be office jobs and accounting jobs for whether you're 25 or 55. And yes, you can always play your guitar on the street with a tuberculosis-infected guitar punks in Tacoma. He's so rude. Time. So similar to freedom, but I'm looking at this more in terms of compensation. Is this going to be worth my time? What can I achieve otherwise with this time? If you still have 2 competing options after going through those, roughly 6 stages, then you got me. Toss a coin or maybe ask what option has hotter Republican girls. Oh my goodness. Probably Texas. Yeah.